We'll start with the 49ers, which is a difficult one because they don't have a whole lot of needs. They're a pretty complete team. They didn't have to do a whole lot. You got what's going on with the Brandon Ayuk situation for sure. But let's start with not Bucky Cox. Have the 49ers improved at all? Ooh, that's his burning question. I mean, did they need to? But have they improved at all? I can't see any moves we've made where we're better than last year's team, and I don't see areas of internal growth except maybe Purdy, although he could easily regress too. Mostly I just see us coming off of 2 hard years and being 2 years older.
Okay. Well, I hear that. I don't know if there's anything glaring that you look at to go, ooh, they got better. Here's the one area I would go just to answer that right off the bat for our question there, right? Because I think it's a fair assessment. There's not a splash signing, right? The 49ers have become so good. One of the things that I would say is like a semi-burning question without getting into the main thing here is that, hey, what happens with really good teams? The good players want to be paid more, and all of a sudden you start to lose depth with your football team, right? The 49ers are one team that I'd look at to go, yeah, that's something that's happening to them right now. And then as I talk about all the time, whether it's Shanahan, McVay, any other coach out there, right? The conversation of, wait, yeah, we want to win the Super Bowl this year, but we don't want to do it to such an extent that we're going to be ruined for the 3 years after that. We're trying to be in the Super Bowl conversation next year and the year after that too, right? And that is the pendulum or the balance or the seesaw, whatever, that the good teams in football are always battling with. Like, how much is too much all in? And how much is just right to make us good and sustained good, right?
Because you want to take more cracks at it, right?
Exactly.
Like people might be thinking, well, just go all out. Just try to win it this year, but there's no guarantee you're going to be able to do that, stay healthy, so you want to keep that window open as long as possible.
Exactly. And the Rams, I think, kind of didn't intend to do that when they did it, right? When they started to go like, hey, we're all in. It kind of just happened organically. It wasn't a preordained plan where they were like, it was Les Snead and McVay, and we're like, hey, let's start to dump some of the depth of our team and just go high-priced, like second, 2-3 year contract type of guys, right? I think it was just like, oh, and then they made a trade, and then they were like, oh, whoa, we need this guy, and we're good, and okay, we'll have to make this trade and do this, right? And it kind of just happened. It wasn't like a plan that was thought out. They kind of went with it, and they adjusted on the fly. And, of course, we know they stunk for a year because of that after they won the Super Bowl. But here, back to the point, and back to at not Bucky Cox, right? The defense end position, they got better. That's the first place I'm going to tell you. You kidding me? They traded in Chase Young for Leonard Floyd and Yetur Gross-Matos. Like, no doubt I'd take those two guys over them right there. Right? So that would be the first one I would look at to go, no, that is a difference-making tandem. Even though it's not sexy, it's not 15 sacks. That is one area I think the team will be better at.
Yeah, and I would say Malik Collins. They traded for him, Texas.
Definitely.
He started 112 games in his career. So
he's good. It's just, is he better than Eric Armstead was last year, right? Yeah. That's what he's going to be compared to because they tried to renegotiate Armstead's contract. It didn't work out, right? But yeah, Malik Collins, certainly not shabby. And then they got Jordan Elliott from the Cleveland Browns to add a little depth there as well. So I think those questions are real. I get that totally.
You've been at times.
Yeah, go ahead. Lead me down a road here.
The defensive secondary for the 49ers.
That's where I'm going.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. To me, if my buddy Shanahan asked me one thing to go, what would you do to change my team or what we do or whatever,
right? Head coach.
Which he's never going to ask me, right? Because he'd be like, you, whatever. I'm coaching this team and I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
But I would go, you got to be able to play more man-to-man in some big situations. That's been my complaint about them for quite some time, and I think, again, it kind of reared its ugly head in the Super Bowl. There was one team in the Kansas City Chiefs in the big moments that said, hey, we can blitz you and we can play man-to-man in these got-to-have-it moments. And then the 49ers were like, what zone should we call again? Because he's picking us apart in every zone we call, so what do we do? Right? And that, to me, is the burning question, is the corner spot, right? Charvarius Ward, very good, right? But he's the only guy on their team that I really trust man-to-man. After that, you go, I'm not sure. Now, they drafted our man Renardo Green, who we talked about a little bit in the pre-draft.
He tried to play man-to-man a lot. I think he was the press man. I think he did it more than anyone in college
It was up
year.
there, right? It was up there. And he fits also the Seattle scheme, so he can do both. So we'll see where that goes. We will. But I do think if there's a team that I would go, hey, is there some secondary? Is there a corner guy out there that maybe, veteran guy that hey, let a little time go by.
There are, right?
Xavier Howard is out there, right? I
Stephon
talked about
Gilmore?
this with Devin McCourty, and Stephon Gilmore's out there. Now, I'd rather have Xavier Howard because I think when healthy, he's still a lockdown guy. Mm-hmm. But that would be a guy where I'd go, if they can figure out the price, and I'm sure he's asking more than maybe some teams would want to give him at this point of his career, and he's had a few injuries as of late. But that would be a guy that I would be kicking around the tires for. Is that right? Kicking the tires around?
Kicking around the tires,
yeah.
Kicking the tires.
Like that,
you just added an around in there, but that's all right. You can kick them around.
Right.
So we got a question here from 4Niner701, too. Yo. This is my Chris Simms Unbuttoned question.
I like it.
I like that, 4Niners. This is the first year in the Shanahan era they drafted without Adam Peters. It's time to see if it's been Peters or John Lynch the past Gems.
All right, at 4Niners701. First off, did he spell my name with one M and Chris Simms? Did he really do that?
Oh, he did.
I mean, can you believe that? You're gonna impersonate my talking and do all that, and you can't even spell my last name at 4Niners701? How dare you?
Disappointing.
How dare you? Right. See, but it fits in Chris Simms' mold. Smart, but not totally smart that we can always spell or speak right. So I'm with you. You're one of my homies. Okay. I like
culturally, you're a part of the podcast. You just need to work on the spelling.
Right. Know who you're listening to. All right. So here, this is much respect for John Lynch, right? Big part of the organization. Now, this is the thing where I tell people this sometimes, and I still think they're shocked about this, or they don't understand this, right? Kyle Shanahan's picking the players. Kyle Shanahan is the GM of the 49ers. He has absolute total power, right? So it's not the way to take away anything from, a John Lynch or just like a Brett Veach of Kansas City. Andy Reid gets final power call, right? There's a few of those in the NFL, right? So it ain't Peters or Lynch. It's Shanahan, then it's Lynch, and then it was Peters when he was there, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Of course, Shanahan's in the trust tree with Lynch, and they're talking about all these things and all the time. But, you've heard Lynch over the last few years. He's talked about draft room war stories or whatever. Hey, Kyle's a little impatient. He wants his guy. They make a move to get his guy because he's the boss, right? So he makes the call, right? Do you think John Lynch made the call on drafting Ricky Pearsall at 31 when nobody in the world thought he was worthy of that pick for the most part, right? No, that was a Shanahan.
And he can say that now. He's like, I didn't think it was worthy of that.
Yeah, right. Or Lynch could be like, see, it's Shanahan. He's got total power. If it didn't work out. But no, Lynch is, of course, supplying the information, knows what Shanahan wants, and then, of course, knows what he wants and what works too, especially on the defensive side of the ball, right? I mean, he played for those Bucs teams and all those crazy dudes on defense. He knows what good D looks like. So that is an aspect that I don't think everybody realizes sometimes with the San Francisco, because Lynch is such a, he's a powerful guy, and he's a big name, and he's awesome, and he does a lot of the press conferences, maybe more than most GMs, and I think people think that he is getting final call because of that sometimes, and that's not.
Yeah, it's just about having the voices in the room, right? And I'm sure there are some times where those voices become more prominent and more influential on a player.
Right.
But Kyle's got the final say.
Kyle's got the final say, and I'm sure Lynch is narrows it down. And hey, look, there's these guys, and then
and if he's really passionate about a guy, maybe it convinces Kyle to change his mind.
Exactly right. And Kyle is not so stubborn or narcissistic or anything like that, which I would say a lot of the great coaches are not. Yeah. To where they won't hear your side of the story, and if they see there's passion, and then you can start to show them some video evidence and some other things to go that they're not like above changing their mind.
Yeah.
That's good coaches change their mind.
And that's how you end up with Trey Lance. And so that's exactly what happens.
You're funny. Right. Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off season, but there's no off season with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.